Hello again, this is episode 5 of my 8-part series on covering a section of my book, the last chapter of my book, 16 Facts about the Covert Malignant Narcissist Sociopath. This is my book, finally free, my exodus from the Covert Malignant Narcissist Sociopaths. And this is something that I have now many unfortunate years of experience with, and I hope that my experience can empower you, strengthen you, educate you, give you the chance to feel that other voices, that you are not crazy, and that sorry for the noise, hold on. Sorry, I don't have a soundproof environment that I can work in. I'm trying, I'm promoting my book. I need my book to do well, and I'm offering this as a genuine effort to positively contribute and help others. And if you are at present entangled in a toxic set of connections, it doesn't have to be a primary relationship. It can be any toxic situation where someone is very severely negatively impacting your life and they are deeply toxic to you. And if you're entangled if you are in such an entanglement, I hope that my words and my experience can help to strengthen you and help you to get to a point where you can extricate yourself from that entanglement. And I have said this in other videos, but I will always say, being trapped is a very real thing. And you may be trapped and you may not be able to get out, or you may not be able to get out at this moment. However, it is my hope that somehow I can be part of the fabric of getting you out. And for those who have not yet had the unfortunate experience of such an entanglement, I encourage you to use my experience as your cautionary tale and avoid such persons. So the next 2 items I'm going to cover the next 2 items in this series. There have been 4 videos I've done already. Please go back and look if you would like to, if you haven't seen them. Item 1 of this video: the Covert Malignant Narcissist Sociopath knows all about neuroassociative conditioning, otherwise referred to as NAC. So we're talking about the Covert Malignant Narcissist Sociopath, and I will add, I am unfortunately immensely qualified in this type of creature, as I have had my life catastrophically damaged by these people. And the last one, because prior to the last one, I had no education about what this is, and I didn't know what the scientific terms were. I didn't know. Sorry about the siren. Hold on, please. My apologies. This neighborhood is plagued with constant noise, and I really need to get out and get somewhere peaceful, that I'm safe where I'm safe. I'm not safe right now. So anyway, prior to this last person, I didn't have the education. So I didn't know what I was dealing with, and I was not equipped to handle what he was doing. Sorry about the noise outside. After he discarded me, I started hearing people talk, and I learned what this is. And so I learned that he is a covert malignant narcissist sociopath, as unfortunately my parents were, and a number of other people in my life. And my parents primed me to be an ideal target for a covert malignant narcissist sociopath, and to be unable to not be equipped, to simply not be equipped to handle. I was just going to try to pause again in case that fire truck was going to make a lot of noise. So, point number 1, they know all about neuroassociative conditioning. It is how he controls you. I use NAC every day now to keep me in peak state, keep me always improving, and keep me on the track of creating my best life. I want to add, when I wrote this, I could have written more, but I was focusing on the CMNS. But just to say a bit more about this, I use a variety of tools to manage my state, to be an active participant in my mind, my emotional state, my condition, my emotional and mental condition. And I also attend to my physical condition by continuing to take care of my fitness. Okay. The covert malignant narcissist sociopath uses NAC to enslave the target, you, me. NAC, when used for good, is a technique of interrupting negative limiting patterns of behavior, emotions, and thought, redirecting the energy, and replacing those patterns, emotions, and thoughts with their empowering counterparts. The covert malignant narcissist sociopath uses word salad, redirection, evasion, gaslighting, blame shifting, shaming, weaponized incompetence, and a host of other derelict mechanisms to persistently interrupt your pattern of trying to engage with them in a healthy way that demands accountability and integrity. They take control and twist your mind. They cause you not to trust yourself. They keep this process in play all of the time. They are never not running a scheme. I would never call neuroassociative conditioning a scheme on its own, on its face. But the covert malignant narcissist sociopath uses everything, anything and everything possible to, as a tool to dominate, control their target or targets. A covert malignant narcissist sociopath can have many targets at the same time. Since they're running this programming all the time, this is their process of constant manipulation. I'll give you an example of the concept of interrupting, right? The CMNS with whom you are unfortunately entangled or attempting to interact in some rational way has said something or done something that cannot be logically excused or explained or understood. And so you, the normal person who is committed to establishing, to engage, having and engaging in a healthy relationship with this individual, or healthy exchange, or productive interaction, whatever it may be, your intention and your motivation is to create that positive interaction. But they have no intention of participating with you in that, because your interest in a healthy, positive interaction is in direct conflict with their manipulation routine to dominate, control, and manipulate you to get some gratification that they are seeking. So they do something unacceptable. They do something cruel or violent or destructive, hurtful, offensive, humiliating, any number of possibilities. And then you turn to them and you want to discuss this. You want to say, hey, that really damaged me. We need to straighten this out. I need to hear you, one, be accountable for what you've said and done. Number two, I need you to then accept, be accountable, accept this, and be certain that you, the CMNS, will never do this again. So what happens? You go to them to try to discuss something, and what do? A pattern interrupt. They shift blame to you. They maybe get violent and overreact, and then make an argument about something else entirely, completely pulling the exchange away from what you had wanted to talk about. Whatever it is, but that's a form of, an evil application of neuroassociative conditioning, pattern interrupt. And they are spectacularly well skilled in this. They are spectacularly well skilled in the art of evasion, lying, misdirection, blaming, blame shifting, all of it. So that's a bit about that, and I hope that example is useful. The second item for this video is they function on rage and obsession. The phrase, "I can't live without you," is not love. And I will give you an example of my experience to help to illustrate further and flesh it out and hopefully be useful to you. I can't live without you is control and obsession, need, demand, a requirement to function. It is not giving. Love is, I'm sorry for the cars, love is giving. The phrase, I'm sorry, if they keep it up, I'll have to pause and wait until they're done. The phrase, "I can't live without you," is requirement of the other for basic survival. If I say to you, "I can't live without you," I'm saying that I require you for my basic survival. It's not a statement of love, because a statement of love would be, I am so uplifted being with you and just sharing energy with you and talking with you. I'm so, my life is substantively happy as the result of being with you. That's love, or a form of. Certainly that's affection. "I can't live without you" isn't an expression of that, actually. We have this phrase that has persisted in our language for many, many, many years of the human condition. And it has been very frequently and commonly used as a form of expression of "I love you, I can't live without you." I think that the better expression, and I think that the positive intention of that phrase, and it could be better, and I think that the healthy replacement, I think the healthy intention, if there is a healthy intention in the phrase, and I think it should not be said that way, I think it should be said, my experience of life is substantively diminished when I am absent from you. And by contrast, when I am with you, the world seems to have a beautiful sunshine all the time. That's one way. And that isn't, I can live without you. But it doesn't change the fact that I love you so much and you are such a light to me that I don't want. It's not that I can't. It's that I don't want to be apart from you. And that's a very different statement. That's a healthy expression of deep, profound regard and affection. Okay, so on the subject of rage, because I said they function on rage and obsession, and the thing about I can't live without you, it's a form of obsession. Rage fuels everything that they do. They live in a constant state of seething, discontent. I never heard Mr. X ever just be genuinely kind with no expectation of return. Every word he said had a contemptuous snarl. I know it can be difficult to imagine this. I completely understand. It can be very difficult to imagine this, certainly. But it really is true that when one is on the misfortune of being entangled with someone of this level, this deep, this far spectrum example of this perversion, human perversion, he never said a word that did not have some sort of contemptuous snarl on it. It didn't matter what it was. Compliments weren't really compliments. He never once, not in the 4 years that I wasted, not once did he ever actually say to me, Eva, you're so beautiful. Anything like this. Not once. No, not once did he ever just look at me and say, Eva, I so admire your loving spirit. I love that. I love your kindness. I love how you are an empath and you feel so deeply. I love that, and I respect that, and I value that. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be anything. There was not one thing that he ever said to me in the 4 years. Not one time, not ever. By contrast, there were numerous occasions, not daily, but very, very frequently, where he would be in, he would have some sort of ego crisis, some sort of whatever, ego bruising, anything. And he could be guaranteed, he knew I'm a wonderful target, and he picked an empath because they love empaths, and he picked me for that and other reasons. And he didn't pick me because he loved me, though. That's the thing. It was never love. It was possession and obsession and control. And he knew that if he displayed some sort of ego bruising crisis nonsense, that he would immediately hook me into my empath response, coming from a place of love and genuine love and caring, where I would immediately engage in a process of building him up, giving him very healthful commentary, speaking about his good qualities, not in a fantasy way, but in a very real way, in a very genuine way. And I would give of my heart and my spirit, and I would encourage him, and I would bolster him and all the, but he certainly wouldn't, he would never accept any of that. It was never something that he would ever turn to me and say, thank you so much. I really appreciate you saying that, and I'm going to really think about that, and I'm not feeling this way now, but I appreciate you saying that, and I love you for your kindness. And nothing ever. And unfortunately in my life I have never had a relationship like that. And I wish better for you. I don't want anyone else to have to suffer this way. So the example about the I can't live without you that I wanted to just add here, again, I'm sorry about the constant horns and the noise outside, is that at one point, and I wrote about this in the book, there was a midpoint in the relationship where there had been many problems. I had already tried to leave him several times. Not several would be 7 or something. But there were multiple occasions where I had tried to leave him. And he absolutely would not. He would not abide this. And he hoovered me back every time. And because I didn't know what hoovering was, and because I didn't understand this whole process, this love bombing and everything, I was a trapped little bug in his web. And so then there was this point where I really made that decision. I was firmly decided on this, and I broke it off. I sent him on his way, and it was very difficult for me to do, and it hurt a lot, but I was not going back. I was not going back on my word. And about 3 weeks went by, and I remained absolutely firm in my resolve. I was not calling him. I was not nothing. And then I get this text from him. Stream of consciousness, I don't know, 10-page thing. Just an run-on, no paragraphs, no punctuation, just a run-on, literal diarrhea of the mouth. But because I did not know what I was dealing with, I no tools. And what he said was a lot of, I can't live without you. And I was at work, and then I became catatonic, and I was staring at the wall, and I couldn't move, and they had to take me to the hospital, and I had to be revived, and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And I can't live without you, and I can't live without you, and then blah, blah, blah. And then maybe like a little bit of a promise of never doing all the horrible things he had done in the past. Perhaps, somewhere in there. And even after that text, I wasn't consciously deciding to take him back. But unfortunately, he knew what he was doing, and I did not. So what I thought consciously, my conscious thought and choice was, okay. When I ended it, it was very painful. And it was very, it wasn't a big screaming fight, but it was destructive. And I really needed to have an ending that wasn't that. I needed to have the kind of experience where there could be an ending that was kind and just different, just constructive rather than destructive. So I decided to ask him to come and visit me. And I left the key in the fence, and I told him, listen, don't speak. You're just going to come visit me, and I'm going to spend some time together, and I will say goodbye, and then you have to leave in the morning. You have to leave before dawn. Now, I'm sure that if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh, God, how stupid are you, Eva? And I just have to say that, yes, from the outside, looking at it from an objective place, it does seem a bit daft. But I really felt this way, that I just wanted to have a non-destructive parting. I wanted to have the last experience with him be something that I could remember with a sense of peace and closure, rather than a feeling of a sense of this wounding, broken wounding. And, I realized looking back that he knew exactly what he was doing. Of course. So when he showed up, I know now, looking back, I can see in hindsight that he was doing the victory march, the victory dance. And the time that we spent, he was the most kind. He was a different person. He was the person I needed him to be all along. He was the fantasy of who he was supposed to be. If I had written out who he should be, that was who he was. If I'd written the absolute ideal of who he should be, this was he in that time. And he proceeded to prepare to leave, knowing full well that there was no way on earth that he had fully taken possession of me, my soul. He had taken full control and possession of my very soul. And so I couldn't let him leave. I broke down sobbing, collapsed, could not let him leave. And I describe it in the book as these were the nails in my coffin, because now he had unfettered. There were no lines he could not cross. As far as my emotional and mental condition with regard to him, and whatever the dynamic was, he was the master. And that was my descent into a hell I cannot begin to describe, and it ended up with me being utterly financially ruined, my life ruined, and I am now in quicksand, failing to be unable to address the destruction that his actions caused. And I don't know how much time I have. I am at risk of literally losing everything, and I don't know how much time I have left. And it was all about, I can't live without you. That was at the center of it. So again, sorry for the noise. I hope that this helps in giving you a feeling of being heard, and perhaps even gives you some power and knowledge of your own. And I hope that if you are entangled, this may help you to get untangled. And if you are not, then I hope that this helps to make you someone who is knowledgeable, and you will avoid allowing such a person to take possession of your life. Please tune in again. Please subscribe. Please look my book up on Amazon. I will attempt to attach the link to my book, but the title is finally free. My Exodus from the Covert Malignant Narcissist Sociopaths. I encourage you to read it if you feel that it would be helpful. I encourage you to read it. It is my experience, and I am telling the truth, and I am not holding people's dirty secrets any longer. And again, I hope this was helpful and of service to you. And I will have, this is part 5. Part 6 will be, I will be most likely creating part 6 tomorrow. The remaining, there will be 6, 7, and 8. There are 3 more videos in this series. Please subscribe. Please come back again. Tune in. I hope this is helpful. Namaskaram.